Peter Pan's Adventure. There once was a little girl called Wendy. One night, she was getting ready for bed in her nursery when Peter Pan and his tiny fairy friend called Tinkerbell darted into her room through an open window. As they entered the nursery, the room lit up and gentle music followed them. Their arrival awoke Wendy's sheepdog, and his gruff barking caused Peter Pan and Tinkerbell to flee. In his rush, Peter Pan lost his shadow. A few nights later, Peter Pan came back to look for his lost shadow. Wendy was a sweet-tempered girl. She realized what had happened, and she offered to help. She said kindly,
"May I help you? I think I can sew your shadow to your feet."
Peter Pan was delighted to hear that and said,
"Well, thank you, Wendy."
With that, Wendy hurried off to get her needle and thread. As she sewed, she listened to Peter Pan's tales of his life with his friends. He spoke of the lost boys back in his homeland called Neverland.
Come with me to Neverland, Wendy, and bring your brothers. It's the most enchanting place you've ever seen.
Peter Pan said excitedly.
But we can't fly!
They cried.
Don't worry, leave that to me.
Peter Pan said confidently and gave a little giggle. Peter Pan then sprinkled magic dust on them, and very soon the children were flying through the window into the night sky with Peter Pan and Tinkerbell.
Wow, this is great!
They shrieked with glee. On their way to Neverland, they discovered a beautiful blue lagoon. In it was anchored a large pirate ship. It was ruled by Captain Hook, who was a fearsome pirate. His hand had been bitten off by a crocodile and had been replaced by a metal hook. The crocodile liked the taste of Captain Hook's hand and had since been waiting to sink his teeth into the rest of him too. The curious thing about this crocodile was that it had, at one time, swallowed an alarm clock. And if you listened carefully, the tick-tock could still be clearly heard. As they approached Neverland, the Lost Boys saw Wendy in her white nightdress flying overhead and said in wonder,
Look at that beautiful white bird!
Tinkerbell, who had grown jealous of Wendy, flew ahead and ordered the boys to shoot an arrow at the bird. Thankfully, they missed her, but the arrow frightened Wendy and she tumbled to the ground. As she hit the ground, she yelled,
Ah! I'm injured! What have you done?
Peter Pan was furious and ordered the boys to build a house around Wendy so that she could recover in comfort. Soon, Wendy was well again, and she began to take care of the Lost Boys, who quickly grew fond of her. One day, when Peter Pan and Wendy were swimming in the lagoon, they discovered that the pirates had captured Princess Tiger Lily.
Let's save the princess from the evil captain.
Peter Pan said defiantly.
I have a plan.
He continued. The next day, Peter Pan mimicked Captain Hook's voice and told the pirates to release the princess. It worked! After they had rescued her, Wendy and the Lost Boys helped Princess Tiger Lily to return home, where she was reunited with her father. From that day on, they all became good friends. When Captain Hook found out what had happened, he was very angry and went to find Peter Pan to fight him. In the middle of the battle, he heard the sound of an alarm clock.
Oh no, the crocodile is near. He wants to eat the rest of me.
The captain cried in terror as he swam away. Eventually, Wendy and the boys realized that they had to go home. The Lost Boys held a party for them on their last night in Neverland. The pirates found out about this and attacked their party. A battle broke out. Wendy and her brothers hid. Eventually, the sound of a drum was heard, meaning the Lost Boys had won. But it was a trick. The Lost Boys had lost the battle and had been captured by the pirates. Wendy and her brothers emerged, only to walk straight into the pirates' trap.
How could we have fallen for such a rotten trick?
They said in despair as the pirates surrounded them. That night, whilst Peter Pan slept, Tinker Bell saw Captain Hook creeping towards Peter Pan and watched him put some poison in Peter Pan's drink by the side of the bed. When Peter Pan woke up and went to take his drink, Tinker Bell rushed over and drank it first so that Peter Pan wouldn't fall ill. Poor Tinker Bell fell into unconsciousness. When Peter Pan found out that the pirates had kidnapped Wendy, her brothers, and the Lost Boys, he headed for the pirate ship to save them. He found Wendy tied to a mast, and the rest of them lined up to walk the plank. Then, suddenly, a tick-tock sound was heard. Captain Hook ran to hide from what he thought was the crocodile. But it was actually Peter Pan, mimicking the sound of the alarm clock inside the crocodile's stomach. In all the chaos, Peter Pan untied Wendy, and the Lost Boys grabbed weapons, ready to attack the pirates. Peter Pan and Captain Hook battled face to face, but Peter Pan was too quick for the captain. Deciding to escape, Captain Hook jumped ship, slipped, and fell straight into the jaws of the crocodile, who finally did get his fill of the tasty Captain Hook. Then Peter Pan told all the children who believed in fairies to clap their hands, so that Tinker Bell would get better. Magically, with all the clapping, Tinker Bell woke up and was instantly better. Having defeated the rest of the pirates, Peter Pan and the Lost Boys took over the ship and sailed Wendy and her brothers all the way home to bed. What an adventure! Who knows, if you believe in Neverland, perhaps one day Peter Pan will take you there too.